What is up? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video, guys. So this video is going to be a little different. It's not going to be us installing something on a Supra or even installing something on this car. As you guys know, this car's not even registered. I'm just in my neighborhood. It's the only reason why I have it out. But this is pretty much going to be a reflection video. So by the time you guys are watching this video, the 370Z is officially paid off. Now, please don't take this video as me bragging or thinking that I'm better than anybody, because that's simply not the case. I'm making this video in hopes that it can inspire the next person, because I get questions often that ask, like, what do you do for a living? What do you do for work? Like, how are you able to afford these cars? How are you able to afford these mods? Now, I paid this car off, and that's a big deal, right? But what makes it such a bigger deal is I paid it off 2 years earlier than the original payoff day. The sun's going down and my camera is dying, so we have limited time. But 5 years ago, guys, 5 years ago, I had no idea this car existed. I remember the exact one that I saw the first time I saw it. Right, it was white, it had blacked out headlights, and it had black NISMO wheels all the way around. I saw it and I was like, yo, like, I need that car. That car is so sick, right? And so I set out a journey on trying to find one. And then I found out that when you boost these cars, like when you add a turbo to it, they get absolutely crazy. So I was like, yeah, I need that car. Like, literally, I want to buy it to boost it. So we found one. And honestly, when I got this car, I drove it, I think 3,000 miles, because it had a limited warranty on it from CarMax. Because as you guys, well, some of you know, some of you may not know, but when we got this car back in 2020, it came with limited warranty through CarMax. I had this car shipped out from Virginia. So this car came from Virginia all the way to California. And yeah, I had to pay, like, I think it was $2,000 to ship this car to California. But yeah, I drove this car about 3,000 miles because I had that limited warranty through CarMax. During those 3,000 miles is when I found out that the slave cylinder for our clutch was bad. So I took it back to CarMax, and they actually took it to Nissan and they replaced it at no cost to me. So shout out CarMax for that. But after the 3,000 miles was up, this car literally sat. Like, if you ask anybody close to me, they'll tell you that I really didn't drive this car because I bought this car to boost it. You guys know that this car isn't really the cheapest when it comes to boost. Like, if you want to do it right, it's not really cheap. And I knew that. So I wanted this car to sit while I gathered all the parts to boost it. I didn't want nothing happening to it. I didn't want nobody hitting it. I didn't want to get in no accidents, none of that. So I did not drive this car. I stacked up money and I stacked up parts to boost this car. And when we did it, we did it. And when I say we did it, I mean, I had a stack of parts in my room. I did not cut any corners. I pretty much got the best of the best parts. I did all the work myself, guys. I spent about $18,000 boosting this car, and that's literally with me doing the work myself. That's just in parts. So I didn't cut no corners, and that's pretty much why I'm assuming, but I guess we can all agree that I really haven't had any issues with this car at all. It's been minor issues, like I had crossover pipe issues connecting each header together. That's because the car is low and I was hitting it, right? Some of the roads that I drive on are not the best. So issues like that is what I was having. But as far as parts or like this car not running right, I haven't had one issue. Now let's talk about how I did it. How did I pay this car off 2 years earlier than my original payoff date? Now, I'll be honest, I'll be transparent. It was hard. It was definitely hard. Now, the leading force that led me to wanting to pay this car off is I knew in order for me to get another car, this car had to be paid off, because I'm not getting 2 car notes. That is beyond me. That's not happening. Now, again, being transparent, you guys know that I have my own place. Living is not cheap. It's expensive. I live out here in SoCal, San Diego to be exact. It is not cheap, right? So having to pay for the roof over my head, because that's number one, that comes first, and then throwing everything else at this car, of course leaving some cushion, but throwing everything else at this car, because if we're being honest, again, I paid this car off 2 years early. I could have just did what I was supposed to and paid off when I was supposed to pay it off, but again, I knew that in order for me to get another car, I had to pay this car off. Now you're probably asking, okay, why do you want another car? It's pretty obvious. You guys know I do YouTube, I do TikTok, I do Instagram. I'm a content creator, I make content, right? And so what I do is I use these cars as content to help you guys with your cars and to entertain you guys and to really just show you that when you have a dream, chase it. right? So all of that comes into factor. I really just want to be that example that you can do whatever you want as long as you put your mind to it. Because if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I'm always striving to be the best possible version of myself, and I try to push you guys to be the best possible versions of yourselves. But in order for me to push you, I got to be that example. I got to lead by example, right? So that is really my spill. But for the people who don't know, let me go ahead and pop the hood so I can show you guys what's done to it. Before I pop this hood, let's go ahead and do a walk around. This paint is freaking amazing. Look at it, man. I opened the garage. I'm like, dang, I can't believe after 12 years, guys, this car is 12 years old. This is a 2013 370Z NISMO, and we are in the year 2025. This car is 12 years old. It has a little over 100,000 miles on it. I think it's like 100,000 and like 600 or something like that. It's barely over 100,000, but man, this car looks good. Like if I would have never told you the miles, you would never guess that this car was over 100,000 miles or had 100,000 miles on it. But that's what happens when you take care of your stuff. Shout out to my dad, because he always taught me as a kid, take care of your stuff and you won't have to replace it after a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Just take care of your stuff and they'll always look new. He always taught me that as a kid, and I always kept that with me, and that's the only reason why this car looks the way it does. I know majority of you have seen this car multiple times, but for the people who haven't, I'm going to give you an interior shot. We have the Recaro seats out of the V2 NISMOs in here. I take pride in these seats too, because for those of you who know, these seats are very easy to be worn out and like just look worn, but mine look good, especially right here on the driver's side bolster. It looks good. I take a lot of pride in that. But yeah, we have the V2 NISMO seats in here. Look good. We have an aftermarket steering wheel, NISMO button. That works. I know a lot of you have asked me what this bracket is or like where I got it from, and it's Steering Solutions. And of course, I need to keep my cruise control, because that's how I control my tune as far as like map 1, 2, and 3. And this is what it looks like underneath the hood. We have our turbo right over here. We have this little fiberglass right here because it kind of hits the hood. So it kind of helps us in a way so that it doesn't like burn a hole or like make the turbo look kind of weird. But our 3-in-1 reservoir, this is probably one of my favorite mods. It just looks like, it looks good. It brings everything all together to look unified. But it's the power steering reservoir, the oil catch can, and the coolant reservoir. It's definitely one of my favorite mods. But again, this car is pretty much done up. We have our fuel regulator right over here. We have our boost solenoid right over there. We have aftermarket, I think it's a stage 4 clutch in here. We have, what is it? 450 fuel pump, I believe. We have the CJM fuel hanger, a bunch more. We have 1300cc injectors. This car is all done, bro. We have a lot done to this car. I can't even think of it off the top of my head. It's been a couple of years, but yeah, there's a lot of parts. It's getting dark, of course, and I'm noticing on camera that you can really see the color pop out right now. And this is really like the true color of this car. I know like in some pictures and video it looks red, but it's actually magma red to be exact, and it has like a burnt orange to it. It's not really red, it's really burnt orange, but like in some cases it looks like it's red. But yeah, this is really the color of it right here. Okay guys, my camera's dying, and before it dies I want to end this video. I appreciate you guys for watching this video, and if you haven't already, subscribe, because there is more content on the way, and stay tuned for the new vehicle because it's going to be sick. There's another video I'm going to make on that topic, but I'll leave that for that video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out, stay safe, and stay tuned.
Whoa. Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believed me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic got to say. I got them picking up the pieces. That to me, you really playing with your life. I'm about to come and run it all back. I'm the new era, about to snap back. You ain't fitting for it, cause you all cap like.